If you are looking for the best future-proof gaming PC build, you came to the right place. I will show you a PC that's actually really good for gaming performance right now, but you can also upgrade down the line while you keep most components, and it will not bottleneck your future components. Now, I want to clarify that these PCs are not going to be the best in terms of price to performance right now. So if you want a gaming PC that is going to give you the best performance right now, you can watch my video about the best gaming PC builds of the month. You will have that one in the top right of the screen. That being said, let's start. First, let's talk about what I did and also what you can expect out of this system. Now, usually when we talk about future proofing, people just think you put the greatest components for down the line except for the graphics card and that's it. But honestly, in my opinion, that's a waste of money, because at the end of the day, you always want to have good gaming experience right now, even if you want to upgrade in the future. For that reason, I put 4 different PCs with the same all-around components except for the GPU, but I also didn't overspend that much. That way you can always upgrade in the future on these PCs. You also get a good performance right now, and most importantly, you get it at a decent price. So basically you're getting the best out of the two worlds. Really good performance right now for gaming, but also a PC that's going to be good for the future, and I will explain why and what these systems are capable of running. So let's talk about the components, and if you don't know anything about computers, don't worry, because like I said before, I will explain to you what the systems are capable of running right now and also what you will be able to upgrade in the future. So for the CPU, we have the AMD Ryzen 5 7600. This is a 6-core 12-thread processor that will basically have no bottlenecks with any GPU that you throw at it. Also, because it's from the AM5 platform, you will be able to swap the CPU with future CPUs in the future from AMD, and also with a CPU like the current Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which is the fastest CPU on the market right now. You can do that with no issues because the motherboard is going to support it. Now, the motherboard is going to be the Gigabyte B650 Gaming AX motherboard. This one has great VRMs. It's going for $180 right now on a $10 discount, and honestly, in my opinion, this is the best price to performance future-proof motherboard. Now, of course, you can get cheaper motherboards that are going to be just fine for the AMD Ryzen 5 7600, but if you want to drop something like the Ryzen 9 7900X or the Ryzen 7 7800X3D, you want better VRMs. For that reason, I picked this motherboard, so you end up spending a bit of extra money, but in the long run, it's going to be worth it. Then for the memory kit, we have the TeamGroup Elite 16GB of RAM 2x8 of DDR5 at 5200 MHz CL42 memory. This is not the fastest at all, but honestly, by the time you want to upgrade your RAM, we will probably have way better speeds for cheaper prices, so you really don't have to worry much about the RAM right now. And if you want 32GB of RAM, you can always upgrade down the line, or you can just swap this RAM with 32GB and you will be fine. Just so you know, if you want 32GB, you're going to be spending around $30 extra or so, which I recommend you doing, especially if you do content creation. Then for the storage, we have a 1TB of Gen 4 SSD going for just $45, and because the motherboard has 3 M.2 slots, you can always upgrade your storage down the line, meaning that if 1TB is not enough right now, in the future you can put an extra terabyte or 2 or 3 or whatever you want. But 1TB is the standard for gaming, and like I said, you can always upgrade if your storage is filling up quickly. Then for the case, we have the Fractal Design Pop Air ATX Tower case. The reason why I picked this is because of the price to performance. It's only $80 and it's going to support basically any GPU in the market, even the RTX 4090, because the maximum GPU length on this case is 405 millimeters. So in my opinion, this is the best case. You get really good airflow, decent price, and upgradable over time. Then for the power supply, we have the Corsair RM750E. This is a 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply, A-tier rated, so you can throw the best GPU out there and this power supply will support it. However, just so you know, if you want to throw something like the RTX 4090 and then upgrade the CPU as well, you may want to spend a bit extra on the power supply and go with 850 750 or even 1000 watts depending on the feature graphics card that you want. But honestly, 750 should be enough for most case scenarios. But yeah, if you're thinking of doing a really huge upgrade down the line, then I recommend you spending $30 to $60 extra on a power supply with more wattage. You will have A-tier rated alternatives in the video description in case you want to do that. Now for the graphics card, we have different options. The first option is gonna cost $950 for the total build plus the graphics card, and it's the RX 7600. This one is going for $270, and honestly is a really good GPU for 1080p and 1440p gaming. Just so you know, for 1440p you will have some limitations with the 8 gigs of VRAM. If you don't know what VRAM is, this is the RAM of your GPU, which is a different type of RAM, and you cannot change it down the line. So if you want more VRAM down the line, you have to change the whole GPU. Now 8 gigs of VRAM in my opinion is enough for most titles. However, if you want to play the latest AAA titles like Hogwarts Legacy, you will have to turn down the settings a little bit. So just so you know, you will have some limitations with 8 gigs of VRAM, but the total price for the system is going to be around $950, so it's a really good future-proof PC that is going to give you also really good performance right now. And if you are going to play the popular games like GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, or esports titles like Fortnite, Valorant, CSGO, even at 1440p, you will be just fine. You will achieve high FPS, so you don't have to worry about any of that. Now, with the next PC, we have the same components because every PC has the same components except for the GPU, but here you get the RX 6700 XT. This GPU will only give you a 4% increase over the 7600, but it has 12 gigs of VRAM, which will make a difference, especially at 1440p with the AAA titles that I mentioned. So let's say for example you want to play Hogwarts Legacy, ultra settings, this will make a visual difference. While FPS will be around the same, your PC and textures will look much better, and that is the difference between having 8 gigs of VRAM and 12 gigs of VRAM in these type of titles. So you're gonna be spending around $60 extra for this GPU and around the same performance, but for future games it's gonna look much better. Now with the next one we have a $1,200 system with the RX 6800 XT. This is a high FPS 1440p GPU, and you can also play at 4K. You get 16 gigs of VRAM, so even at 4K this GPU will be fine for future titles. And honestly, if you want to achieve really high FPS at 1440p every single game, or you want to upgrade to a 4K monitor down the line, in my opinion this is the sweet spot. Now the 6800 XT is going to be much better, and you will achieve really high FPS compared to the RX 6700 XT, and it's going to give you around a 30% increase over performance, which is a lot. And if you want even more performance, for $1,300 on the total system, you can get the RX 6950 XT instead of the 6800 XT, which is going to give you around a 15% increase over performance. This is as well a 16 gigs of VRAM graphics card, which is enough for 1440p and 4K gaming, but you will be achieving higher FPS. I do recommend you switching to this GPU if you're going to play really high demanding titles like Flight Simulator, but if you're going to play the typical titles, you will not notice a difference because of the refresh rate of your monitor. Remember, all of these PCs are future proof, so let's say down the line you want to put a better CPU in the Ryzen 7 7800X3D or any CPU that AMD is going to launch in the next few years, you can do it pretty easily because this system will have no bottlenecks with your future components. Now, if you have more money to spare, you can always upgrade the RAM, the storage, or even the CPU and power supply if you want to put a really high-end graphics card in the future. So no PC can be 100% future-proof, and it really depends on your budget and needs, but I think I did a good job finding the middle ground where you get a really good PC down the line, but you are also getting a great PC for gaming performance right now at a decent price. But let me know how I did in the comment section, and like I said at the beginning, if you want the best PC build for the price right now, I recommend you watching that video on the best PC builds of the month. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.